My name is Adenike Oyetunde, and it's a special edition, and it's brought to you by YNaija. I'm sure for those of you watching us now, you're streaming online, you're simply with the hashtag Nigerians Decides on Twitter at YNaija. It's a very, very full house, and you know that for Nigerians and the international community, we started the electionary process on the 28th of March 2015, and it should be wrapping up today, hopefully optimistically, with gubernatorial and state house of assembly elections taking place in 28 states of the federation today. I have a very, very full house, and I will be introducing every single person as starting from my left. This person on my left is Oyetunde. Good morning.
Hi.
And next is Ayokume. Good morning.
Good morning.
And there's Chidi.
Hi, good morning.
There's Adenike. There's Bukola.
Good morning.
There's Bola Zade.
Yeah, good morning.
There's Joachim. And there's Temitope. And there's Isabella. Hi. Welcome, everyone. It's going to be a few hours here with every single one of us. And like we said, it's very participatory. All you need to do is follow at YNaija and make sure you use the hashtag Nigeria Decides. I will start with everybody in the house. Predominantly, it's a men-dominated group, and I keep wondering why women are hardly ever in this form of discussions. Well, even when women are there, our population are number, but just 3 women here, and how many men? My goodness. Nevertheless, we have a loud voice. I want to start with Isabella. Now, we saw the presidential elections a few weeks ago, and many things have happened. From there until now, today, gubernatorial elections and state house of assembly elections, what are your hopes for today?
Well, I hope the peace, like the way people were able to go back to work, go to church, on Sunday. That's the most important thing. There's peace. We don't fall into anarchy. There's minimal bloodshed. I won't say there won't be bloodshed because I'm sure there will, but let there be peace. And then hopefully let this change thing not go throughout the land, because the last thing we want is a one-party state. So I'm hoping that the people's voices are heard, and I'm sure there are some places that someone change, transformation and different things, and I hope that comes through.
Do you agree or disagree with her as to the nature of extent to which change should go across the land?
I think I agree with that in a large extent. With the last election, it has actually shown that we vote on the electoral count. It has also shown deeply that Nigerians have a resolve to move forward. We now believe, we now agree that we have the power to determine our future. And I also agree to the large extent that Nigeria should not be placed in a one-party system.
What do you think the Nigerians will, protect if we operate on their one-party system?
No, it's not just about it's going to be more of a doomsday if we operate sometime a one-party system, because then we'll be given a free ticket to corruption, a free ticket to dictatorship, a free ticket to gross misconduct in government. Because when you have a one-party system, one-party legislative, one-party executive, which approximates independent. So definitely, I don't see how true democracy, virtual democracy, can actually grow in such system. So it is important that even if the systems also are not placed on that one party, this is another part. I strongly believe, and I hope that the electors are going to vote based on the competency and the credibility of the candidate and the party. And that is the only way we can move Nigeria forward.
Can I say something?
I'm just coming to you.
Yes. Well, I just want to basically correct something.
Okay.
Yeah. Nigeria cannot be one party. Cannot operate on their own party.
Why?
For one particular reason. The one party system is basically a system of government where the constitution recognizes only a single party as having the right to form government. That is not what happens in Nigeria. That is not what is. I mean, if you say that you don't want a situation where one party dominates the political landscape,
That's what it is.
yeah, because some people confuse the one party system is just like, that's not what we have.
But I'm sure that people that are voting against the one party, of course, will understand that constitutionally we are not.
Yeah, that's
one party. And that with 9 states where state governors, well, some governors, incumbent governors are running for re-elections, and new candidates or new people on block for certain states. What state, in your opinion, do you think that we all should look out for? One, as a result of process. One state that is going to be very, very keen. The competition is so closely contested. In your opinion?
Okay, I'll look at bigger states, obviously. For the first time in the long run, the PDP coming out with a very great basically guiding for president. Going backwards, going down memory, the PDP want to presenting candidates who cannot hold their own leaders for this world. Who use election before election. So I feel the local elections should be all that should be on the River State, not basically because of the competition there, but
there's been so much about River State in the news.
Because no one wants to get the River State and other hotspots. Oyo State, the incumbent governor who is keen on breaking the lame duck, the generational course. The governor cannot come back. We have YNaija, who is strong with Ibadan. We have secting at our client, who has block votes from promotion. You have Justin Palari, who is popular among the young guy. Then you have Sheyi Makinde, who is seen as the fashioner of Oyo State. So it's going to be very keen. It's going to be very keen. Then Ogun State, no. I don't think so.
How about Kaduna?
No.
I
see Kaduna as the no. I see Kaduna very easily. Tambuwal claims also, because those are the kind of leaders they know.
What kind of leaders do they need?
The guys who are different from the old dog, the educated guys who are tested and trusted.
Are you saying that the other people that have been running things have not been educated at all?
Looking at the current group of northern leaders, there's a few shining lights among them. Also, who is one of the best governors
in your opinion?
Wamako, educated, but he didn't do particularly well. L5, tested and trusted. So what he did in IFCT, Abuja, LPG, Tabua, So I feel those states are not closed by anybody. Whoever calls those states undecided or close to call, they don't know much about them. So I will pick Lagos, Rivers, and Oyo. And Oyo, no,
Oyo State.
I'm excited about Taraba.
Adama is another, going to be key too.
Why are you excited when you hear about Taraba State?
Because Taraba might, make history and the first things that would actually elect. But we know that the APC did not exactly win in that particular presidential election, but it was a close round. So I'm wondering if the sex of the APC candidate is actually going to play a good role.
We men are not sleeping. You know how you
say that when it comes to political conversations, women are not exactly, out there. It's the same thing with participation. But the fact that, this is a woman I respect so much, because aside the fact that she's running for office, she's also a senior colleague. So I'm excited about the prospect of, she can actually be the governor of that state. It's really exciting for me. I hope.
Why do you think you have issues with women in politics? Issues being even the ones who vie for political setting offices. At the end of the day, the cumulative of the votes that they gathered, you keep wondering, I thought you were supporting the motion woman, she will do it. Are we moving past the gender of the sex and we're looking at efficiency and efficacy when they get elected?
The truth is, this is a conversation that a lot of people we try to have outside. A lot of people say, when feminism is concerned, I really don't want to talk about it. But I always tell people,
whether we like it or not, the society has always had this inequality when it comes to, the male and then the female gender. Socially, politically, economically, I mean, women are not exactly equal to men, especially here. So first of all, if a woman comes into politics, the first thing everybody has at the back of their mind is, I mean, you should be in the kitchen. What are you doing here? You'll be a better mother, a better wife than what are we going to take orders from you? So basically, it's a situation whereby the men or the rest of the society themselves are not getting used to the idea of women actually taking the mantle of leadership. And then I'm excited about the fact that we're moving past that slowly but surely.
Chidi, I can see you have a bottle of soda in front of you with the name on it. Is this indicating of anything?
I think it's coincidence.
I think we should show.
I cannot confirm.
So in Lagos State, who is your preferred candidate?
Junior very, very, very.
It's not coincidence. Can I have the bottle? Can I have the bottle?
You have the bottle.
Can I have the bottle?
Okay.
Why Jimmy Abaje? There's been so much about Lagos State, about Akinwumi Amade and Jimmy Abaje. We'll get to the things, the climax, because of the week, the things that happened. You comment here and there. But so much, Mr. Abaje has been in the news. Mr. Abaje was the director of this pharmaceutical company. Mr. Abaje left. Mr. Abaje's company is owing tax. Mr. Abaje says, I have resigned my position as running the company. Mr. Abaje says, the Lagos State government sent me a letter commending me for having paid my taxes. And Governor Fashola has used me so much. And then you're still sticking by Engineer Abaje. Why?
Yeah, because a whole lot of the things we've had is some propaganda. It's also discredit the man who's popular and who people actually want to vote. So they're using the media as a tool to discredit this man. And to some extent, it has actually worked. It has actually worked to some extent. But then, of course, people who don't know he's a decent person. Despite the fact that I cannot say his campaign has been 100%. He has not had some flaws, I have to be honest. He has had some flaws. There are some statements he's made that I spread. But then in the end, he has run a very decent campaign. And there's a whole lot of things. While however, I can also put down the efforts of the current governor of Fashola. He has done some kind of job there. We find out that development has been focused on certain areas and not getting to certain areas. So I think if a state has been run for 16 years and development has been focused on certain areas, people should try someone else and see if that person will do well and then spread the development to other areas.
Any specifics of the areas now?
Yeah, Ijibo, for example.
Is that why you stay?
No, I stay in Shumon.
And how has development in Shumon been? Well,
Shumon is like the biggest publishing hub in the whole Nigeria. So there's a lot of basically about publishing. I think I live there because it's close to work. That's why I live there. If I can afford it, I'll move to the island because that's where development is. That's where it's
That's what you rephrase what you said. That's when they made development.
Yeah, that's where they made development. Yeah, please don't tell me. Yes. Yeah. And please don't tell me, don't give me the narrative about I was saying it on Twitter that development is one side and somebody was saying their roads going to really their roads in my village. Very, very clear. Yeah. The roads in Oafia they are well tapped. Doesn't mean Oafia is very good. So don't give me the
what parameters in your opinion should we measure development by?
Set up businesses that will develop the communities.
And then all existing businesses,
they're focused on the island. All the businesses are focused. So because that you have foreign investors, for example, you want to build your business on the island because the foreigners they come in and say, this is the place I want to invest in. Take a big business, for example, and invite foreign investors to come check it out.
That your candidate of preference will be someone who would share the development of
yes, it's going to spread it across.
Yes.
Sorry, can I say something?
Would you say that in the past 16 years, there has been no development in agriculture to micro? Are you saying that they are going to leave it if they eventually, if you can? The way they met it.
No, of course not. No, but the development has been marginal in bits.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
In comparison
to the development of the island. Development of the island you see
Everywhere in large, everywhere.
Okay.
You know, I think you have some areas that are more commercially oriented than exactly. So you know, in that same Manhattan, there are some places that are more commercially oriented and everything than some other places. Yes. So you see, your parameters, I think you need to review them, because you will not expect the government to bring businesses to places that you know that, okay, these places are not exactly commercial. There are other things that you consider. For instance, you know, the island, right from the time that Lagos State had been planned and everything, you know, there are some areas like Marina. Marina used to be the business hub of Nigeria.
Yeah, we know that.
So why do you think it's
why is setting up? No, it's already the business hub of Nigeria. There's a whole lot of stuff going on the island.
Why is you focusing on Marina?
No, I think there's no business in those places. You just said it now that someone is the public hub of Nigeria.
It's been like that for a long time.
Should we take Shomolu's printing business to the island now? Because you are saying that there's no printing business.
Underdevelopment does not mean there's no development. But that development means that when you measure development to a broader or to a neighboring community, it means that the level of injustice has been done in that area. It doesn't mean that for the past 16 years, because the government has not been doing something in that area for Alimotion, not been doing. But it's based on the population of Alimotion. Look at the location of Alimotion compared to the population of the island, compared to the business development of the island, compared to how many people are assigned on the island to the mainland. You know that there's a disparity. You know that there's a disparity between the island and the mainland. Give you this when you want to develop in public economy. When you want to develop a particular area, you create an equilibrium. Equilibrium doesn't mean it's going to be equal, but you create a level playing ground for every community. You're not going to focus 90% of the revenue.
So in essence, what both of you are saying is that
in essence, what we're saying is that the 16 years government has not been fair to the mainland in Lagos. That is one.
The mainland
holistically in Lagos. That is one. That's one. The secondly, also, you don't just base apart from the development, apart from the development. Another thing is the welfare of the people. Welfare in Lagos State is something that has been off the dictionary in Lagos State. We understand that Lagos is a mega city. People can actually take care of themselves, but government are really taking care of people. We talk about what is the policy of the government on employment? Do you know why they leave all these things out? Because they believe Lagos is the city, it can be, you can survive on your own. But what is the government doing? What are the policies on employment? There is none. There is none. So what?
Personally, I've been in Lagos for a long time. I was born in Lagos and I've lived most of my life in Lagos. And recently I've had to move. And there was this Lagos home that I take tax where I work. And what really bothered me was that they claim that they use taxpayers' money to build all these Lagos homes. That is the Lagos Home Ownership Mortgage Scheme. And you need a minimum of 5 years before you can qualify for it. So I had to go to the open market to start looking for a place. Meanwhile, other people that worked 5 years, 10 years were able to get it. They now kept promising they are going to do rent to own. So people like artisans, people that don't have 5 years, will be able to get it. This rent to own scheme should not have been the first thing that they did to address the housing gap. A lot of the people who get in Lagos homes are people that have been working 5, 10 years already have houses they are living, so they will buy it and rent it out and feed the whole purpose of people like me who is just starting out and needs maybe a 1-bedroom apartment. And then this rent to own, eventually they've rolled something out that is in Abidjan, City or something that is in Ekpe and everything. To even access this thing, you have to be part of the national mortgage scheme or something. And the information about it is so little. I saw it in the papers, I went online and started reading. But if you see the way they promote these Lagos homes, they go around communities really making noise about it because everyone is going to make money. It's an internal generating machine. Yesterday we were on the island, me and my friends, and one of them supports APC and said, look, you just see the lagoon, see everywhere. That if not because of the weather, you will think we're in London. But come to the mainland, come to the soil, come and all those water riverine places. The fashion now say he's going to turn that place into Venice. When they do it in Europe, what have they done? What have they done? I'm sorry. I think it's the mainland. And there's a clear difference between mainland and island.
Do you also agree with that holistically that the mainland has been shut?
Yes, and the mainland is in all those places, they are not as developed, the roads are not good. If you look at computer just going to move them to this place.
This year computer
He has not
on my street. I believe that for my age and for my years of work, I might not be able to afford certain exclusive. I'm going to. You see, you are talking about Fashola not being there, not developing the shanties, the under third mainland bridge and everything. It's elitist. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because I remember some years ago. You know, we're very forgetful people. I remember some years ago when you drive into Lagos, you know what you meet is an eyesore. When you land in Ikeja, when you are driving towards when you go down road, what you see is an eyesore. Everywhere, every entrance into Lagos, apart the worst chaos. Now, how many years after can you still say that Lagos was the way it was when the APC came in? First question. My streets in Ikeja. I just left them, but the street I lived there for so long. The APC government has tagged that street once. And what they did was not just to show you up. They tagged the entire area, the entire area. Anybody that stays in that off Awolowo Road area will confirm that they tagged everything. Street lights. We did not pay a dime to get street lights on my street. These are things that people overlook. Where these things happened before, the marijuana that was calmed down, the marijuana that was the light in the military and the children that did so little and everybody shouted that did so much. What they did with these people they have upped the ante. I think both parties have put their best feet forward. Whoever wins, Lagos is not going to be short-changed. But let us put facts. Let's speak in facts. And put facts in proper perspective.
Because for a state that makes an average of $1 trillion per year for the past 16 years, are you telling me? Can you confidently tell me that I said average? Can you confidently tell me that what your government for 16 years, that what you only able to do is to get this on the state?
Well, first of all, to be honest, I mean, you made a lot of interesting points that I have, I've listened. And then, somebody was talking about, I'm going to actually take them on my own. Somebody was talking about Lagos not being a welfare state, or, not concerned. And was that your point?
No, I said
your point. Yes. The truth is, first of all, I believe that what you're, talking about social safety net It is not somewhere that Nigeria as a whole has even got into, first of all. When we even look at the social safety net in Nigeria, it's almost non-existent. So you cannot single out Lagos and say, you know what, Lagos has not done anything. Let me make my point. And that's the point. Now you can't come in here. Now the second one is, you're talking about development and you said, oh, you know what, the mainland and the island are not as far. There are very few places in the world where you have development, you know, they're cut across every single area. It's almost impossible. Yeah. You know, because sometimes in some places, I'll give you an example. The last time I was in Dubai, Dubai is a wonderful city. I mean, in terms of infrastructure, it is 100%. And then I went to a place called Sharjah. You know, my friend told me that, oh, you know what, if you want very cheap items, you go to this place. I said, okay, fine, no problem. I got on the bus, me and my friend, and then went to Sharjah. As soon as we stepped down from the bus, I tell you, I felt like I was in the Oshodi. I felt I was in the Oshodi of 1999. Do you know what that is? And we should bring this to my next point. Now, I told my friend, I said, are we still in the UAE? I don't understand. I said, it was smelling. Like, literally, I couldn't walk into the market. This is Dubai. And everybody sees pictures and say, oh, you know, we have the best buildings. Now, bring this to my next point. Oshodi of 1999. My father's house is in Antoli. I grew up there. That is where I lived. For the longest of time, I used to pass through Oshodi. Now, I went to Federal Government College in Adenike. What it means is that for me to get to my school, I have to pass that Oshodi Soro Expressway. It used to take us at least 2 hours to move from that Oshodi bridge, which is about 2 kilometers. And then it will take us at least 2 hours. You know, at some point, my mother would tell me, Oshodi was so bad that my father would tell me and my brother that we should sit on the chair and look back, so that while we're in traffic, nobody will move something from under our car. That's how terrible Oshodi is. If you pass Oshodi today, you will not believe it. For the longest of time, I did not know that there was actually a road under the bridge. I just used to say, the only thing I would say, I'll just see crowd, and I'm wondering what is happening there. This is 10 years of my life. In the last 8 years, I can now pass through Oshodi and say, this is Oshodi. I had no idea what Oshodi looked like. This is somewhere I used to pass every day of my life as a child. That's the next one. Whether you like it or not, you have to structure development in a way that it actually amplifies the strength of your city. Where does Lagos make revenue from? So basically, you have to look at all these points. Another thing that we have to look at, you know, sometimes we make women and we isolate them. Now look at the reason why the island is where it is. Historically, Lagos is actually, I will call Lagos, you know, Lagos is by the sea. The only reason why you have a lot of development around the island is because of where the water was. And basically, those are where the ports were. That's how it is. Even in Calabar, it's the same thing. So it's not as if, you know, one government will come and say, oh, you know what, I like this island and this is where development is. So if someone is closer to the port, it only means that it's better for my business. So basically, when I bring in my goods, I do not have to go far and wide. I'm like, okay, let me just set up shop here. It costs what? It costs my transportation, it costs everything. And what happens is that I'm a businessman. I'm like, no, I don't want to be in traffic all day. So basically, I get my house here. Now I'm the one making money. So what it just means is that the money I make basically goes back into my community, and basically the place actually develops. And that is why let me finish. Development is never a standalone issue. It is not. You cannot just say, oh, the government puts in something. It is give and take, demand and supply. Before development can actually happen, there has to be a reason for the government to actually put in money where it's putting money. That's what I'm trying to say. So basically, does it then mean that that's where they're coming? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when Lagos is structured, the island is already the commercial network. Because of the way Lagos is structured, you have to actually amplify the strength of your city when you're thinking about development. The same way Lagos is going to develop is not the same way Anambra, for instance, is going to develop. So you cannot be saying that, oh, you know, and even this argument of the rural areas not even being developed, I don't know where it's coming from. Now, fortunately, my mom, and I have seen the progression of the group. For a very long time, she has a school on a street called Akinsanya Street. When I was there, Akinsanya Street and all the streets in that area had, what is that road? Nothing. But believe me,
I'm not-
if you go to Akintoye now, rent in the last 8 years,
Can you tell us
rent
what Omole is? Can you tell us what Omole is?
when I say
Omole is a what? It's a what?
Akintoye Street, I have mentioned
Omole is a what, please?
Akintoye Street, I have
Omole is a
mentioned
what, please?
no, the Akintoye Street, I have mentioned this is not
Omole is a what, please?
Yes.
Omole is a what?
I don't know.
It is a what?
Omole is an
estate.
It's
No,
high
no,
value.
no, no,
I have
The beauty about it is we all have our points. However, if we keep speaking when some other person is speaking, we will not be able to hear ourselves out.
Okay.
So please be with us. Calm down. I know you want to talk. You can note down the things you would like to say. When the person is done speaking, then you can address. If you're just joining us, this is the situation with the YNaija, and we have a telephone line where you can also call in the number 01454 double. Let's take that again. 014544388. 4544388. Please feel free to call us now. If you're on Twitter, you can use the hashtag Nigeria Decides and tweet at YNaija with your questions, your contributions. It's a house of pro and anti different political parties, different systems, and different structures. Modupe is about to round up her points,
Yes.
hopefully.
Yes, I am. No, I mean, I just want, because I actually wrote them down. So now this is my final point, which is the mortgage scheme that we talked about. Because I mean, I don't like us to just, when people make arguments, it's a very good thing that you brought out facts. But the truth is, mortgage schemes are never easy. In emerging markets, for instance, all over the world, Lagos State has tried to do something that that is probably novel, that other states, most states in Nigeria, I don't even know of any other state that has done it. There are going to be hitches.
There is no mortgage scheme.
Wait, I said I do not know. I do not say Nigeria. So there are going to be hitches, of course. But we should not say, oh, because there are hitches in something that we're trying to, do, then it means that it is all bad. Now you made your point and you said, oh, you know what, this is, but you can't just say because of that, this mortgage scheme is all bad. I do not agree with that, exactly. So there are hitches, yes, and that is expected. So I mean,
I think that hold on, please. I hope let Isabella and Bola speak quickly.
Yeah.
To one group, and then we're going to ask you. Some people have not spoken yet.
Well, I never said it was bad. I said I would have actually loved to be a part of it. But they claim they use taxpayers' money or people that have been working for 5 years to do it. And I said, where is the need? The need is to provide housing. The people that are going to be able to afford Lagos homes are people that already have houses and that they will have the money. Now you do rent to own, which should have come first. Because rent to own will allow people like me that doesn't have up to 5 years, artisans, market women, those kind of people that need those houses, that need to be empowered and have steady income to enter this mortgage scheme. But instead, they are doing Lagos homes first and the rent to own next. And the rent to own, they're not putting as much PR behind it. I'm sorry, on the Lagos homes, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there are newspaper adverts. Anytime they pick names, they will publish a full page. Then the governor will come, they will be there, they will take pictures, all that serene on top of Lagos homes for people that is only the middle class that will be able to. 1 bedroom on Lagos homes is 9 million. You pay about 3 million to 3 million. You pay about 3 million to enter. Then you pay something that the next time, not the rent to own first. Then the Lagos homes, the fancy ones will come next. Then you not tell me that yes, I like Lagos homes. And if they are giving me, said, okay, you don't need 5 years, maybe I would have been able to take part in it. So I'm just saying that they are skewed. The development is skewed and it's the wrong way. It's first to the rich and middle class, then to the masses. And it's the masses that put them there. And it's the masses that should be their utmost priority.
Thank you. Let me come on with the down mortgage because it's something very, very interesting. She talked about some state being in the like there and the rest. In Ogun State in 2008, we had the land area workers estate in Ogun State, and it was a housing scheme project, housing mortgage scheme for workers in Ogun State. The price was 1.1 million naira giveaway, and the deposit was 100,000. We paid over a period of 10 years. Initially, it was supposed to pay 100,000. You get it cheap. Now you can pay over 10 years. That's for workers. So when you come on the issue of big idea, something out of this world, it's not out of this world. See, the problem is this. You guys or them people that keep supporting the 16 years government that has fueled the masses are the major problem of Lagos State. See. When you talk about, I'm surprised that after 8 solid years and after 16 years of uninterrupted governance in Lagos State, by the opposition by the new ruling party now, by APC, we are still talking about Oshodi. I'm surprised because for Lagos State, now we should be talking about something much more.
No, I give an
example. You give an example. You give an example that people in government have been giving for the past 8 years.
Even cleanest.
Hello. Hi, we will need you to please speak up. Can hardly hear you. Hi, good morning. This is YNaija Situation Room. What is your name? Oh.
No, it's still running.
It's still there?
Yeah, what is your name and where are you calling from? Oh no, it's gone.
So,
if you'd like to join in via the telephone, please feel free to call us on 014544388, 014544388, and remember as well on Twitter at YNaija. That's the handle, and the hashtag is Nigeria Decides. I will please speak with all of you. There are 29 states where elections are holding today. We are going to dwell on Lagos. We know why. But then again, we're going to have to move on at some certain point in time. Come back to Lagos because, as we know, Lagos is above, Lagos is important, and blah, 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 blah. But you want to.
Yes, let me be random. See, the issue of Oshodi should not even be coming up in 2015. It's something that was done in the first 4 years of fashion life, especially. I'm so surprised that someone is still using that as the major, even can make it level. No, that he funded it. That was that. No, I'm calling again, and again she was talking about something like because the island is prone to development around the ocean. We understand. See, so this guy gave a good example of ocean economy. I don't know why. I know it's still funny to you people. I know it's funny to them. It's funny. No, they may not understand. It's still funny to them. You get example of social economy. However, I think it's just logical. I'm coming now. To APC. Now, see, I think it's on my own side. I think it's laughable. Because it's ideologically insane. When you have a when you have a difficult economy on its own, that has the potential of going on its own. Isn't it reasonable that an economy that does not have the potential that you should develop those things?
I think we'll have to wrap up. I want to hear both three of them. 1, 2, 3. I want to hear 3 of them speak because they haven't spoken. Well, I want to hear them say, I agree totally, I disagree.
I didn't know we were having camps here.
I
want to say something.
Okay, you're just talking. Go ahead.
Okay, now, I always compare Lagos to someone that has cancer. And then I'm making the person and then make all person don't kill and die. You know, for a state that makes quite a lot, nothing on ground per se to convince me that right, we've had a governor, not the former, not Tinubu. Talking of the president is a role model to governors around. Who are the people here? But looking at what the state makes and what they have on ground, there's no justification. I've challenged many people. Okay, how many houses in Lagos have 5 bungalows because you got many people? I area, I can't give a level. And almost everybody on my street is going road. And 1, 2, the roads in Lagos. Nobody should come here and talk to me about roads. I know I'm very telling about to change my shock absorbers. The other you will do road here. The road will throw you to one side and the other side. You know? The only good road I know is when I'm going to work. Then also my bad.
Come on, the whole of Lagos?
Yeah. No. When I say good road, when I'm climbing the bridges, you can't.
No, we have to be objective.
No, we really have to be
Like, that is experience.
You know, the roads they shout about road. How many roads? We're talking about okay, let's get expressway. I'm aware that Lagos has speed of the toll or the PP. Yeah, they still toll the road. Many things are questionable. You know, but because they have good PR, you know what good PR does now? The very brand, you know, if you can package brand, can package anybody. The government has the best PR.
Are you saying that the president did not have his own PR team, or his PR team failed him such that he lost his bid for the re-election? The incumbent president, because he's saying that
the incumbent president achieved very little, and then they had a despicable and appalling PR team. So
let me hear Dayo and let me hear Dayo and speak. And of course, we can guess.
I'd like to ask a question, but first of all, let me clarify. I'm not running for the APC or PDP, as we know the man in the street. So is it true that the thing that we disagree about here is about what constitutes good governance? So I'd like to ask a question, but before that, can we first of all agree that Lagos is better on the fashion line? We should all agree on that. We should agree. Lagos is better on the fashion line. No matter what you think compared to
that's the fact.
Lagos is better. Yeah, it could be better, but at least it's still better than before. That's it. Now, I'd like to talk about 3 models just to make my point. I want to ask a question and we can talk about what really constitutes, what makes good governance. So there's 3 models. The first one is Fire Ekiti under Fire, Fashola under Lagos, and Lagos. Lagos under Fashola, thank you. And Oshun under Aregoshala. I was in Oshun to cover the election last year. And what can I say this? I was on the ground. In Oshun, this is Aregosala's model. He gives you food. It feeds you. It lets you feed from his hands. That's how he runs his own thing. And the people are doing, it's like a man of the people. I remember speaking with the people on the street and they were saying things like, they get free food. They get milk, they get bread. In Oshun, they get bread, they get milk, they get free meals, and they get free uniforms and things like that. That's
the train ride from Lagos to Oshun.
So Oshun.
All festival, whether it's Christian, Muslim,
and I saw it.
Public holidays are plenty.
Absolutely. And the roads, even the roads in the rural areas too. People felt that this man touched them personally. People couldn't afford to buy eggs and these things for their kids. They felt that, oh, the government will do this for my kids, and I really appreciate that. And so I remember then on election day, these people stood their ground. They were counted. It was like a unanimous thing. They all voted for him and the best man. That's for Aregoshala. In Fire in Ekiti State, I was there too for fire system operation. And one thing I say this, incidentally, my mother is from there, so I know everything to say about that state. Now, Fire-based model is this. Fire believes in prestige development. When you come to Ekiti, you should see some stuff. You should see that I have a pavilion, I have some place, and things like that. Somebody said Fire is a Twitter government. It's some person that great PR, you can see it. But Ekiti is still as rural as it was 10 years ago when I used to go to primary school, 20 years ago or something when I used to go to primary school in that state. It's still as rural as ever, despite all the hype about Fire being a great government.
So it's all went up to
okay.
1 max equal to 1 max. And the guy said it has the best network in Nigeria. I was happy. I was questioning for the boy.
You don't know the places, the routes that he went
It's a rural state. So, but that's how Vibe is hoping to do all that and stuff. And we look at Lagos too. In Lagos, it's still the same thing. Fashola in this case, we have roads, we have these things and all that stuff. But the thing is that the high-rise buildings and things like that. But the man on the street in Lagos, that's the key thing. The man on the street in Lagos, how do these things affect the man on the street directly? So my question is, looking at these three people, Fashola, Fayemi, Nareko, my question is, what do we think, which model do we think is the best or is better than the rest of the other models?
Is there anyone who suggest?
Subjective, it depends on your perspective.
Exactly, it depends on your states. Now, it's a good thing that you brought up Ocean State. I feel like I'm talking so much.
Yes, just calm down. Let's just begin.
Okay, just a little
Finally, he's
fact
speaking.
checking. Hi. Just a bit of fact checking here. He mentioned Lagos makes 1 trillion every year.
I said average.
He said
Average. Okay, it doesn't even come close. The monthly IGR is about 20 billion.
No.
Okay.
IGR 20 billion.
Federal.
No, per month.
Okay.
Per month. In 12 months, how much is that?
That's about 240 billion.
240 billion. How much is federal allocation?
150 billion.
How much is the
for the whole
of now, how much is the SS product for SS product? I'm coming.
You want to see right now?
I'm coming. Just get it down. Then how much are they getting for subvention from World Bank for education, for water? Just like that.
It would be good if you have figures to this so that we can manage
That's what I'm talking about. I do that big. So you don't bring your facts. We're talking about my
$1.5.
No, that was just last year. I mean, we can only use 2014 now. Yeah.
Now, this last.
No.
No, wait.
Even the 20 billion was only November and December.
Wait, now I'm talking about. Because it makes gets as good allocation.
It's about roughly between 10 and 15
billion per month.
Yeah.
Calculate over 12 months.
That's what added up to it.
No,
between 10 and 15.
So the average is 10. So we could say the total every year is 50 billion.
It's 260. This is 260. So it's 12 months. It's 12 months. It's 260.
Okay, take 10.
It's 260. I'm coming now. I'm coming.
Okay.
20 times 12 also. Now, there's the World Bank, there's the World Bank, there's Agri, there's one for agriculture. I'm coming now. Wait, see, you can go on like these things are there. I don't know.
It's not 100 billion a year.
Because all these things you're having, I don't have figures to it. That could be 2 billion in 5 places. That doesn't round up to 10 billion. And you have to put it at 1 trillion. Which state in Nigeria makes 1 trillion per year?
My brother,
how much is the federal government making?
My brother, what I mean is the word average.
I'm way to that average.
Do we want to check the word average?
We can do as the should piece. When I look at one average, you should understand that this is.
I mean, this is an average of 1 trillion. It is okay. I mean, but it doesn't even come close to that.
So I think people should make this point.
There's a lot of money.
No.
Let's ask him. He's here. Let's ask him. Hold on.
Let him make his point.
You would have to hold on.
The only fact is Lagos doesn't make an average of 1 trillion a year.
Only LRS is 20 billion. Only LRS new. We've not talked about Loma. They are now receiving non-disclosed. Lamata, the one from Lamata, is not disclosed. It's not disclosed. Do you have the figures? Do you have it?
Making that much money.
We sent. We can't keep fucking figures. We can't be tracking figures. We sent an NYU.
I mean, you really need to have something to buy it.
Can we please receive No.
Because we really need to be careful about the figures you bring out. You can make a point without actually padding up figures. Say Lagos makes 1 trillion. Lagos makes a lot of money. Development.
I think it does not have facts.
To back it up.
I give you average. I just say I want to be good. Average. You see,
you don't have
if you have issues to talk about what I said, you have issues about welfare, about social policy, you have issues about housing, talk about those issues. Talk about this one is you are bringing more issues. The issues that concern the masses, talk about them.
So if
don't start thinking about
if your child complains that you are not feeding him well, and says that despite the fact that my dad has 1 million and your salary is actually 200,000, I can't start making my point from there.
Okay, so same of the issue of the IGR, what else?
Now back to what we're talking about. Lagos makes a lot of money. And now the argument is, where is the money going to? The sentiment here is that focus is on the highland. Now, Lagos runs on a model, and I thank him for actually running through other APC states that are running different governance models. These are economic models of governance. The way Lagos runs now is a business, and it has been run as a business for so long. Now, you as a governor, you are the custodian of the resources that come to Lagos, both from the federal and the ones that come from within the state. You need to apply judgment because, like I said, Lagos is like a business. More than you can't bring Adenike Oyetunde's model to come work in Lagos, for example. You can't be giving free meals and everything, because when it comes and for states that operate that model, we are seeing what has happened to them so far. In that, for the past 4-5 months now, Adenike Oyetunde has had issues paying salaries. That can't happen to Lagos, even if federal allocation does not come. And that is because in the process of disbursing your resources, you have ensured that you put money where you are guaranteed to have returns. Now you look at the mainland and the highland, and Fashola didn't make it so. Resources flow more on the highland, and when you know that is, as a business, that is where your customers are, you make sure you satisfy them to an extent.
At the detriment of the masses.
Not
what is interesting.
And like I said, this is a business. This is a business.
Lagos is not a company. Business empire. It's a private business. It's a private business empire.
What is going on is a kind of redistribution by other means. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. Lagos will be run on taxes, and it's run on taxes whether anybody likes it or not. This is the model that has been set before us, and it's the model that has ensured that this state continues to run, and will continue to run the way it's running, even though many allocations are declining. I'm sure we have friends in other states. We need to only ask them what the challenges are. Some states have not paid their civil servants now for like 6 months. That's what that is what I'm going to return, and they will never come back. Not for now, anyway. Now, the building blocks of this system that we're enjoying were not laid today. They were laid years ago, and they were laid as a result of the necessity of the political battles that came between Obasanjo and Tinubu. Obasanjo denied Lagos State its due local government allocations. As a result, the man had to find a way to get the state to begin to make money that will help it to fulfill its obligations to the people. Those obligations cannot be fulfilled at the same time, even though that is the ideal and we all like it to happen at once. But it's just not possible. What you need to do, and also secondly, you can't tax poverty. You can't tax zero. 50% of zero is zero. And no amount of tweets, propaganda, or whatever will change it. The people that have the money will be taxed, and those taxes will now be put into public services that will equally lift people out of poverty. Not the other way around. So you don't have You don't have services for having. You don't make services from thin air. And you will not make services when you also have competing things. You have to deal with instead of 50 million people, 50 people in a day coming to this state. You have to take out the trash. You have to put water. You have to put power. You have to put all of those things. And they're happening at the same time. They're not waiting for you. There's no pause button anywhere. There is no remote control. It must happen immediately. There are rules that need to be fixed. You have the state that since the state government moved to Abuja in 1991, they said that they mostly abandoned for the 10 years previous. You have all the issues at the same time. There is no amount of propaganda that can change these facts on the ground. And as a result, if people are talking about issues of how development is moved, is focusing on the island and stuff like that, you see an issue of Lekki toll, that's collecting toll and things like that. The money from all these places is going to go back to these so-called slums and shanties and less developed areas to build them up. After which, this is governance, this is not social media. I'm very sorry. I'm okay. I'm going to have to be really, really frank here. This is governance, and in governance, you have priorities, and only by fulfilling those priorities are you going to assure better outcomes over time. Of course, there are people who prefer to choose this argument to suit whatever agenda they have. There's nothing wrong with this. It's fine. It's fine. When you put your hand to the plow, you are left with choices. Like I said, you can't tax forward. Okay.
And you know,
so, like I said, it is redistribution by other means. That is the game that is going on here. And it's a game that is working so far. And until the system breaks up, I don't say you need to change it.
Yeah. Okay, so it is working so far for who and who? Yes, I'm surprised. For who and who? Are you going to use?
See, go and ask how his prayer applications have been declining. No, I'm coming. Yeah. He has to rely on prayer applications.
Yeah.
As a result, those algorithms have crashed. As a result, finding it very difficult to meet his basic obligation. Go and ask the Lagos civil servants how they got bonuses in December. When they made elsewhere and been kind about not being able to. How do you think that system came about?
Do you know how much was spent?
How do you know how that system came about?
How much the government, exactly how much the government makes and how much is spent?
This is a separate look. Excuse me. You don't know yourself.
Why do I know? Why don't know? Why do I know? Because we said that's the brother. I want you to them.
Don't miss the issue.
We said that
So they are here and so
we're talking economic model.
Can I say it? Okay. Now you're saying so many wheels are turning at the same time, right? Yeah, of course. That's how the system works. But now I am telling you that I believe Lagos has enough money internally generated, given by the federal government, has enough money to have all those wheels turning at the same time and still protect the interests of those on the mainland.
Your beliefs are not facts.
Those are beliefs as well.
Those are your beliefs as well. I live in Shomolu.
Let's finish now. You finish. No, you finish. Now, for us to know for sure that Lagos State is actually spending as much money as it makes on ensuring that the island gets more developed than the mainland, and not protecting the interests of the Akarasela and Ogomaiko, for example. For us to know that that's the case, let us get the FY bill domesticated in Lagos. Let us know the exact facts and figures. We know how much is entering the government, how much is being spent on projects, we don't know how much is going to spend on using your church mind, do you how much Lagos State made that one at ITR? Using your church, do you know? Which is 1 trillion. I don't know because the state government I believe that no wait, we all agree. We don't give it out. I said do you believe that the GDP of Lagos is higher than Ghana? I said people that Lagos is richer than Ghana. I said it's not in Ghana. I said fine. Now Ghana, we know Ghana Lagos is richer than Ghana. And that is because we have the family and you cannot tell me that Ghana is this will not that we are not tell me that Ghana as a country survives lower on the budget of lower than 1 trillion per year. Now, that Ghana as a country survives on the budget of lower than 1 trillion naira equivalent per year. You cannot tell me that. Now, second is this. When I give you the average, that is because my pragmatic overview of revenue in Lagos State should be around 1 trillion. And the reason why I'm in the dark on this data is because I'm coming now. It's because my words are very carefully chosen. And it's important you take a note of it. I said average, and I said that I feel that from a pragmatic overview that Lagos should be making an average of 1 trillion. And the reason why I don't have the factual figure is because the progressive and the changing governor of Lagos State went to the court to seek. What is the idea? To seek. What was the to give us details about details to give us true documents, certified true documents, certified documents of revenue in Lagos State of how the disbursements and education and the expenditure of the World Bank intervention funds in education and the water was made use of, and how much the budget performance of Lagos State. And the governor in his holiness, in spite of his somewhat enhanced transparency doctrine,
Went to the court. Well, come here.
You see,
to seek an injunction.
Can you please because the elections are going on
He said, sponsored by Honorable Adenike Oyetunde, member from the APC, sponsored by at the federal level, and now a bill that was now acted as a law, as act. Now we said because that is a federal law and has not been executed in the state, that the court of law should say that so that the law is not practicable.
This was a fair argument.
The police act. I think they've experienced in Lagos State.
these are
Okay. So exactly, it's just a situation room of YNaija for elections 2015. And as we said earlier, we have elections ongoing in 29 states across the nation. And a few states, have exceptions. The states are Ekiti, Edo, Bayelsa, Ondo, Anambra, Osho, and Kogi states. Elections will not, and the FCT, of course, elections will not be taking place. Okay, so we're going to run through things that we have in River State. There's so much has happened in River State, and a few of the things we may be sharing may not be confirmed but these are reports that are on social media with the hashtag Nigeria Decides, and you can also be a part of it by using or tweeting at us with the handle at YNaija as well. I'm tempted to read it myself, but I think Buki would please do justice to it. Yeah,
okay, elections are, accreditation has started in a few places. Voter turnout has been really low. But we're having, we've had some trouble reported from
certain areas,
Rivers especially. We heard a policeman was shot, one person beheaded in Rivers. Asari Tolu local government area especially, quite some trouble happening there.
Also reports from River State as a fake policeman has been apprehended and taken away, of course, after they had to do so much about it. And many questions will continue to trail with a number of things that will come.
In Akwa Ibom, election materials have reportedly been snatched in a local government there, Borua Nam local government in Ward 4 there. Quite some irregularities going on in so many of these states. Also in Imo State, only about 400 ballot papers were sent to be released to hard hoc INEC staff. In Abia South local government,
materials meant for the election in Aba South local government were yet to be transported as at 9:38 a.m. this morning. Most of the Southwest accreditation going on in Oyo, Osun, Ekiti, and a few other places, but low voters turnout being reported in all these places, which is something I think we need to talk about. Yeah. Did people go to sleep after the presidential elections? Because that seems to be what.
We'll talk about that. Another people. A polling unit at Asari, the same place in River State, has been burnt down. So we'll continue to bring you up to speed with happenings in this era. A few persons have been reporting that INEC officials have not appeared at their polling units, and others are saying that they are there. Some are saying that they're there, but they are not there with all the materials that they need. Please join in on the discussion with the hashtag Nigeria Decides, and tweet at us at YNaija, as well as calling in. Yes, you can call in. It's rowdy. At the end of the day, you know that it's interesting. Every person has their own opinion, but at the end of the day, we'll try to accommodate as many different opinions as we can. If you'd like to join in, simply feel free to call us on 014544388, 014544388, calling and have us share your take on elections going on around the country. Looking at a very, very important question. Prior to the elections, my colleague and I were talking about voter advocacy, and a lot of us on social media, we had spoken emphatically about how this was the most participatory election that Nigeria has ever seen, and on and on and on. And the results came out. In Lagos State, for instance, in margin, a lot of people would have felt that whatever party that had led would have led with an overwhelming margin. But it was so close. And many questions about the people who clamor, the people who shout, the people who talk about voting. Are they actually participating in the electioneering process? Now again, we're talking about number of persons out there for accreditation, and some people come out to accredit, some people then will eventually not even vote. What exactly is the problem? If you look at all the presidential elections, the results, you see the margin accredited number of persons, registered votes, excluding the ones that were employed, and all that. What is happening? Are we in more of a talking generation, a talking people, and little action?
Well, first of all, the issue of voter turnout is very interesting, because the average turnout 2 weeks ago was 45.6%, which is not good. But from what I see, it's going to be even lower this time around. First of all, the issue of the PVCs are kicked in. So there is a limit to what you can do. There's a limit to how high you can inflate voter turnout figures now, because it's one PVC to one person. So that's the first thing. But what is even more worrying is people don't still seem to understand the importance of the governors, of the role that the governors have to play in their states, and in how those decisions affect their lives directly. The truth is, for development to spread across Nigeria quickly, the governors are going to be the best way to make that happen. But if you have a very small number of people deciding such very big decisions for like everybody, you could have a problem where people are not really engaged in the process. Everybody is battling currently now with low allocation. I expected that the people who can pilot those states through these current problems and give them alternative ways of generating money to carry out their basic duties would have been a key issue in these elections, and then would also stimulate engagement from the electorate. Most of the people in those states that are the civil servant that the civil service have not been paid. 22 states, at the last time I heard, 22 of 36 states are owing salaries. And so to have this kind of vote turnout, really from at least from initial reports, is something that is really interesting. I don't know what the matter is. People don't seem to care or what.
Even for if you say that for the gubernatorial elections that taking place today, that the turnout will be a lot worse than it was in comparison to the presidential elections. My concern is even with the presidential election
was quite low. No. Okay, yes, so okay, sorry, I would just come in here based on something Jacqueline said.
So we can be this quiet.
Something that said, of which I mean, someone told me that they're having issues with the sound. I mean, like 2 or 3 people have actually texted me that the sound is not quite clear. So
we apologize for the sound and the rowdiness. I'm sure that we'll get to it and you will hear us very well, very soon.
Okay. So, something that he had said before, I mean, for the first time maybe in our political history, we're having an election that everybody is actually, wondering what's going on. Everybody's interested in the figures, and then there's PVC. So now we cannot inflate voter, participation. So we can't even, so there's not even, for me, this is the first time we're actually having proper figures of voter participation. Yeah. So there's really no backdrop to to compare. So when you cannot compare, you can't even tell if it is low or it is high. You just know that, okay, said like in Lagos, it was about 29%, which is, we do not know what the actual percentage was in Lagos at the last time. That's why I'm talking actual figures of people that actually came out with the last time elections were actually held in Lagos, which we don't know for sure. We don't know for certain. Now, the thing about voter apathy is something that Nigeria has struggled with for a very long time. And then, for the first time in our history, a lot of people, everybody is concerned. I mean, the day I was watching the election, there was a 5-year-old in front of me, and she was just looking to the TV, and she was like, look at the figures from this state. She was very interested, So basically, I feel that it's a matter of, let us crawl before we walk, and then before we walk. Because the fact that people are actually talking about the elections, there are a lot of people that before now, they probably did not have their PVCs because they were not really interested in the process. But I'm sure by next election, because by the time the elections came, I'd be like, oh, I should have gotten my PVCs. I should have actually tried to make that step, because the more we start talking about it, the more interested people got. So basically, I feel that even talking about it, because you mentioned how are we just a talking generation, I feel that that's a very good first step, talking about it. It gets people engaged. My mom had to travel very early in the morning from where she presently resides to where she registered because she wanted to do. She stayed there and she did what she told me. She said, and she got a broadcast on WhatsApp and said, stay there and monitor your vote. So she's going to stay here and she's going to wait for them to count. And she'll bring her food where she is. And that is something that probably somebody that wasn't going to vote probably sent a broadcast and then it got to her. So basically, I feel that the talking is not in vain. Yeah, it's not in vain. Yes. So it's a very crucial first step.
Okay. Everybody saying it's free and fair, but there have been reports, and I know there are cases that there's still been a lot of rigging, people printing ballot sheets, printing, maybe they're even getting their cows to also print on it. I mean, there's a lot of rigging. There's a lot of rigging still going on. What I heard from someone in the north is that sometimes they will just go and line up so that international people see them lining up. But inside, they are printing, they will print for PDP, print for APC, print like that. But if you want to go and say anything, they'll just bring out data. So everybody just pretends like they are all voting and everything. Now, it could be true, it might not be true, but I still think that all this, free and fair elections, this is the kind of people's votes really count. I find it hard to totally believe that, and I think that's what is responsible, that people really believe that their votes do not count in the large scheme of things. That okay, even if I go and vote for maybe COA party, is it really going to make a difference? Or if I go and vote for PDP or APC, are these the things that are going to determine who goes into power? I don't think so. And I think until we get to that place where an election is really free and fair, then and the process of voting is much easier, then we'll be able to really say yes, people will come out. I voted before, not in Nigeria, and I was in the UK because it was just so easy. When I was schooling there, to get registered, everything would come to you, the mail, and all I had to do from my house where I was staying in my school, it was just to cross the road to the church.
But do you think that we will get there eventually? Do you think
no, but people are getting there very quickly. I don't think so. Okay, because there's still a lot of how many people are really in Nigeria? Is it underage voting? How many people get the PVCs? How come more people collected PVCs in the north than in the south?
Some people say, I would answer you, some people, I have moderated a session where that came up, and affirmatively, most of people there agree that in comparison to the north, the south, most people in the north are not as employed as in the south. So they have the leverage of time, they have the opportunity. And then again, they're saying the issues they're being faced with. They think that it's burning in their hearts as against we the south, where we just think, oh,
no, I had a friend who wanted to pick up his PVC. He sent somebody just by the way to the person when he sent me the money, go and check. I went there, they said, those are the people, they know they come this place again. You know, this was in front of a school. And yeah, they'll be announcing on the radio, and it has extended the time. But some places, somebody else will collect the PVC and be sharing it for people like community leaders. My friend that is a journalist, they brought his own PVC to his house to say, oh, take your PVC. So I think until they made this thing much easier for people to get their PVC, when I never registered was because I was in the process of moving. I said, if I go and register at Surulere, how will I now get to Surulere? What if I have to go overnight voting or they vote the next day? Where will I sleep? How will I get there? So until I find a place, I'm not registering. But why must it be like that? It's just such a long process. In my own area on that day, I was making my hand. Someone said, they accredited 209 people, but they only brought 99 sheets, 99 ballot papers. So obviously the remaining 200, 100 and something people were disenfranchised. And then you want them to come at the next election again.
Let's just be clear on something. There is a reason why elections are monitored and are observed internationally. Because while here we can decide to manipulate the process and come out and smile on TV and say that it was a credible process, when you have international observers, it's a bit more difficult to put everybody in one room and say this is what you should go and say. Now, if you look at the reviews that Professor Jega-led INEC the reviews they've gotten since that election, the process has been highly commendable. We will not get there overnight. For instance, this card reader system, the United States commended it so much and considered even even probably modifying it in a way to include it in their own process. These are things that are coming out of Nigeria for the first time. Now we should commend that process, and it's just like democracy itself. It evolves. With every year. Look at what we did in 1999. Look at what we did in 2003. Look at what we did in 2007. 2007 was battle zone. Ogun State, all those places, everybody was carrying guns. Rally. At that time it was. Look at 2011. Look at the process, how it has evolved. I think that we are getting there. Now, what I am most excited about in 2015 is the competition. People are now more involved, they are now more interested, and they are questioning people, they are asking questions, they are raising issues. They are trying to elevate the discussion. We will get there. And on the issue of the northern and the skilled collection of PVCs, for instance, for God's sake, let's be truthful to ourselves. One, the point you made, the kind of work and the nuances that you find in the north, they are different when compared to what you see down here. I go very early, I come back late, and I probably go see my family members or whoever it is in my house till weekends. That's the kind of life I live. But I make time out on the weekend to go and pick my PVC. You will not force anybody. You can force the horse to the river. You will not force it to drink. Your PVCs are here. There were some problems, issues here, fine, and you kept extending the time, and so that people would be able to be fair, and you will not force anybody, one, to register. Two, to go and pick up his voter's card. In the north, they are more passionate about politics. I've lived in the north before, and I've realized that in the north, they take their politics seriously. They take it very seriously, and they have leaders, and they believe in those people. They want those people to get there. It's that followership culture. You understand? So if your leader says, go and do this, everybody believes and says, make sure this person gets there. We have to be a part of the process. Check the history of Nigeria since the British came. That the northern people are more interested in governance. So that is their orientation. I've also lived in the East. The average Igbo man is even angry with you for even closing business on that day. Now, I know good shop. That kind of thing. They want to. They are more about business and great people. You understand? In the Southwest, we pride ourselves on being, we are more, we are a bit more election, democracy forward, all I put it, But the truth is that talk is cheap. We talk a lot. And on Saturday, you say, please, let me just chill in my house. And so there are these nuances, there are all these things that we need to consider. Nobody, the guy did not say, no, please make sure you go and register so that quarrying. It did not happen. I don't not even try to put it, ingrain it in any fabric. The election process is evolving to get there. So that's just my take on it.
Well, the irony is, we're talking about the masses and all. The irony is, the people who actually stand in the sun to vote are the masses. Exactly. And we were talking about what the government is doing, the things that are not really favorable to the masses and all that. But people who actually go there to do the voting are the masses. Now, I think that I agree with Isabella and him that I think that things have got better. I have covered a number of elections, and one thing that I've observed is this: whenever I have to, I let my people know, my family, that I have to go on assignment, and the first thing to tell me is be careful, because people just, and I ask myself, I'm going to cover an election, I'm not going to cover a war. Is there a war? It's not a war. But it's just that the mindset that we have in the country, because of our political history, people imagine that if there's going to be anything political like an election rally, it's going to be violent. So that's the mindset that people have. Even young people who are just getting, maybe they're just getting to the voting age, they just have this mindset that if you're going to vote, for example, it's a place where you could get shot. It's like you're putting your life on the line, that sort of thing. So I think that two things that we can do actually moving forward is this. First of all, I got the show relation, for example. It was a journalist. I was kind of dozing at it. It was so easy. You read my mind because I wanted to sing something to my editor. I was expecting that because I didn't have any beat. I was just very dumb and there. So it was so peaceful. I think that's how it should be, and I think it's been like that for many people like that in many states too. So I think that moving forward, INEC should do more to change the mindset that people have through more advertising, sensitization, let people know that if you can come out and it's peaceful, it's safe, it's what you should do, things like that. Yeah, to do that, they should do more on that so that people know that things have changed, things are changing. The voting thing is more credible, it's peaceful and things like that. And secondly, I think that the government just needs to get better. If people feel that this thing is touching them personally, they will feel more inclined to want to go out there and do their vote. But if I feel that I'm not touched, I get home on maybe it's Friday, for example, tomorrow is the voting day, I get home and I don't have electricity. It might disincline me from going out on Saturday to vote because I feel like I provide my own electricity, I do all these things myself. I don't feel the need to vote.
And how can we get the process up and running such that if we continue to act protestical in our attitudes towards electing people, we will not get there.
I think
everybody has a reason to not come here.
What I think is that the government needs to meet the people halfway. The people want to do that, but the government needs to also meet them halfway to do their part. The government needs to provide stuff for people so that people have a reason to want to go out and vote. Not just let me just do it. But I want to go because I really believe in the system and I really believe that it's going to really affect the person.
So what's your take on the card reader issue? I know that for presidential elections, the former president had the card reader machine issue. His polling unit and the Independent National Electoral Commission confirmed and reaffirmed and assured Nigerians that this time all the card readers that had issues will be up and running. I can see some tweets and a few polling units they're complaining about it not working. And someone actually is literally typing the script out here on Twitter and is talking about how the card reader isn't working, and the people, the voters are saying, look, if the card readers don't work, we are going to stay here, or we're going to either get it to manually work.
Inside the So as regards the card reader, a friend of mine wrote an interesting article and he was talking about manpower, he was talking about training. There were actually some reports that the reason why the card readers were not working was because they failed to remove the film. So I mean, you would have wasted like 2-3 hours. And then the only thing was just the I don't know how much technical know-how you need to understand that, so you know what you need to do. Yes. So basically, I think that it's still it still gets down to the same issue of because for regular election, I do not feel that it is actually something that it's not an honor that rests solely on the government. it is a demand and supply thing. We have to demand the credit. We have to demand for the process to be credible. If the government knows that, you know what, my people will not take it if it's not credible, they will sit up, you know, and then basically now goes to, you know, the issue of training, manpower training. I mean, a lot of people, for the fact that a lot of people that were actually managing this process, you know, the time that they had to remove the film, shows that there was a problem with our manpower technical training in the first place, which is a very, very terrible indictment on the process itself. So basically, I think that the issue of candidates, yes, there are probably some other technical issues, but I also feel that the issue of, you know, training, basically, which was really basic, you know, we actually took for granted. I heard that a lot of this electoral officials were actually, you know, NYS students that probably, I mean, they just pick them up from certain places and like, oh, you know. So I mean, like just like I said, we are the people who have to start sitting up to demand that, oh, you know what, this is what we want this particular process to be credible, and then the government still this year.
Putting to your question, the level of education of a core member who doesn't know how to work a
because that's my fully unit.
INEC had said that they had run them through basic training.
I'm sure. I can imagine what the training is, because to be honest, I actually spoke to a neighbor. Now, this my neighbor he didn't go to school or anything. I know for certain that he, you know, is not exactly literate, because I haven't seen him read. I don't think he can read. And then he was telling me that he's an electoral officer. So I said, I don't understand. He said, yes, that, you know, he went for training. I said, what did they tell you? He said, no, we went, he was not speaking pidgin. So for him, we go one place now for a Kenya. So all of us just did for that place. So I guess we just did. I said, okay, so you were just there. What? He said, yeah, we just did now. The contract said that day, maybe we just come. So I will leave, I will go to the place. He was supposed to come and do some training for me. So he was like, oh yeah, he couldn't come that day. So he was trying to explain. And so I know if he come, because I will feed there like 6 o'clock. I said, so that's all they told me. You know, and I'm like, okay, you know, so basically, I think that we're still very complacent about certain parts of the process. It's a, you know, just like I always say, we have to look at the issues, we have to look at the fallout issues as well. We have to look at everything in conjunction with it. What do we need to make this process smooth? It's not just the candidate. Do we have people that can actually walk this candidate? Very important, you know.
Because you look, but that's what she said, you look at the candidate and it's a very, very basic technology. You're just supposed to put it, and you just need to, and from what we saw from from the presidential elections, this is a machine. It won't tell you how to operate itself. It's, no matter how perfectly made the candidates are, you still need someone to operate them. And as long as those hands are not properly trained and can't find their way around even very basic faults and hiccups, we're going to have problems. And we can't keep going back, because the whole argument go back to, maybe we should go back to using TVCs and the very manual way we've been doing elections. Now, rigging apart, for how long are we going to stay in the stone age of electoral process? Why we should not move ahead? So I think for this, INEC has a very, very big job to do in making sure 2019, you are not 4 or 5 weeks to election gathering random hands and training them on how to.
Isn't that a Nigerian factor? Look at you want to look at the Super Eagles of Nigeria, for instance, the Quito. There's a tournament and then we begin to gather everybody 2 weeks in the tournament and the entire nation expects
miracles. Let me share what I'm saying about polling units. We did not start that meditation until almost 3 o'clock for past 2 weeks, and I'll tell you why. The stuff wasn't connected. There was no network on it. And we kept telling the lady that, you know what, why don't you try? People were ready to drop their SIM cards of other networks. Why don't you try it? This thing might just be a network issue and everything. And she kept saying, no, don't touch it. You need to get. You are okay, fine. They can bring a brand new SIM card for you here that will be configured. Or the PDPH particularly was shouting, no, you don't try this one. When I said, okay, which network do you use? You have a BlackBerry. She said yes. Is your data on? She said yes. Okay, use your own card and everything. They have to get a phone call from their officer and everything, authorizing them. Okay, The problem, we're telling people, saying, no, this thing is perfect, that means one is not working, I have to return it. Then they now call around past 3 that actually the problem is with the SIM card. Use a different SIM card. Immediately they put a different SIM card. Everything works fine. You would have been done in the whole process by so we voted into the night and then finished answering about past 10. So what are we talking about? So some of it is just manpower, really.
What about when you have an election? These are not the candidates, and the people that are going, you don't like them, you don't have anything to offer. Because, like you said, that if you were going to vote, you don't want to vote for either person. So, because
that's confident.
We need safe elections.
I mean, I'm sure there are some people here, and my friend also said to me, he voted for APC and he made it a duty. But this election, I'm not going to go and vote that. Somebody has not really convinced me. Yeah. I don't want to go and vote PDP because it's because it's PDP. Yeah. And a lot of people that want between the both parties. Now, all the PDP people are running to APC. So what is the difference between APC and PDP? It's not like in maybe the UK where conservatives have this ideology, liberal Democrats New Labour ideology, Green Party ideology, Tea Party like that. But when the candidates there, you just feel that none of them inspire confidence. Then why would you make that extra effort to go and vote?
Sorry, to react to that, it still boils down to the same thing with this thing. Our democratic process on its own is actually growing. I mean, in this issue of political debates between candidates and all that, it's really a really new thing. Before somebody just comes out some big shot somewhere and says, oh, you know what, I'm running for office, vote for me, I'll give you a bag of rice. But now people are saying, oh, you know what are you going to do for us? In fact, tell me, you go if you go to the market to for a rally, this was really funny because I was passing through a market one time. And then there was a candidate that was actually there talking to people. And then the marketmen were actually asking him questions. I mean, they would ask the question in probably Yoruba or Pidgin or what's it. But they were asking questions, which for me is a good thing because we've got to the point where we can actually have candidates that would ask questions. Now, the good thing is that by the time we go to the next election, every candidate that is coming knows that, I cannot just come and just, basically front that, I'm running for office because X, I have to have something out there. So I feel that just the same way we've already said, this thing is the gradual process, steps our left and there. That's what I think.
I also think what contributes to this is the skewed governance system that we are operating in a way that there's so much power concentrated at center, and people feel you only need to get it right at that place. Yeah. For some, the job was done 2 weeks ago when they voted in Buhari. Buhari would tie the note to their local government, bring water to them. They just needed to bring in someone with those superpower abilities to change everything for them. You don't see the need to be concerned about who their governor, the person representing them at the State House of Assembly, their local government, chairman and councillors have. And we need to start rearranging things because increasingly, which is interesting because we just had a heated discussion about Lagos. Until it gets to that stage, who governs at the state level becomes as important as we are scrutinizing Lagos. We're not going to get there. Now there's so much scrutiny going on in Lagos. Fashola that thought he had done so much in 8 years is being demystified. That is good for our system. That is good for governance. We need to take that to every single state in Nigeria and say, Mr. Governor, what have you done for 4 years? What have you done for 8 years? And if we take it as serious as we did with the Buhari versus Goodluck, if we take every election at all these levels as serious as that, then we'll be able to filter all these.
Many.
I don't want to use
she was saying something. I'm going to take us back a bit. She was saying Isabella was saying something. Or it was he or she was saying something about the Ankara side of Kokomo. I made the point earlier that the people who actually go to stand in the sun to vote, the masses. Now, the people who pay the taxes, pay the big taxes, the VIP. Now, let's assume that
but they vote.
Yeah, they vote, but they vote was enough.
They vote.
I mean, somebody elected that was
you know how I will not be able to ascertain them.
I'm saying that the more.
But then again, I voted in Ikoyi, and after accrediting, I actually took the role to the other following years, and my colleagues are telling them, oh my God, that was everybody who is good and I had always wanted to meet, literally was out in the sun voting. And I mean this way, and I thought bet on a guy that these people, the elitist people, will not know about themselves with it. I was very, very impressed. So the number may hear, but they are not as non-concerned as we think.
Yeah,
I mean, the person that gave us the headline and the following unit, yeah, he had.
and 5 to 1.
There's a whole research how many elitist people in the whole country reach in the real sense of the word. So at the end of the day, we the masses are still going to number them regardless. The pictures around our social media are a very interesting picture showing a candidate surrounded by police officers. How recent is that? How recent is that picture?
I think it was counting money. The policemen were projecting.
Policemen do not collect money. Nigerian policemen do not collect money.
There's a strategic they increase to 200 there. They have no share of this. Because we told them that something thank you. I love that procedure. Something you can be proud of is 200 now. So the thing is with pride. So in that in that context, I think the picture was released by Vanguard newspaper, my very own what's his name again? I'll realize the very soon. I think the picture was taken by Biodun, yes. The picture was taken by Biodun, and I believe it's a fact because the Lagos is correspondent for Vanguard newspaper. We should condemn what should be condemned. At this point in time,
how do we see that picture is today? Does anybody else have a picture of this?
It was posted by credible news platform. And it was posted with the caption, there's no Elliot sharing money to move voters. So it's not that this news was posted few minutes ago. This news was posted few minutes ago.
I want an example. Now, when when this Chibok test started, and then America said, oh, so we'll help you. There was this picture of a rebel that was captured in Sudan. America, I read the.
That's guidance.
No, I don't think it's about
what I think always
we just don't be
money sharing. Exactly.
Even if before, I want the Vanguard newspaper.
I may not sharing, but we're not speaking specifically about just what Elliot's picture now. Because I know that Russia was throwing out money.
Why money economy? You don't have to tell me how to do more. Basically, I was talking to some colleagues of mine.
You use it with a very you said like money.
No, I said like money economy. So basically, I was talking to some colleagues of mine who are lawyers. So you expect that okay, these guys are mean, they don't earn so badly, so basically they shouldn't be swayed by money. And then right in the, within the discussion, somebody was saying, oh, you know what, I need you to vote for my main candidate because this was for presidential election. I need you to vote. And the guy just said, but bros, how much are you going to give us? And he was telling me straight, and he was very serious about it. So basically, it is a culture. In Nigeria, everybody wants something from me. It's not even about election. If me, as I am yes, it's a becoming culture. If me, as I told somebody, yeah, exactly. So everybody just wants you to give them. The moment I told one of my uncles that I just got a job, so what are you giving me? Do you understand? And then exactly. When I went to the village, for last Christmas, the amount of sacrifice was just too much. Anyway, give me money, give me money, give me money. So whether elections or not, we like money. Before anybody listens to you, so that's how that uncle even came to our house and we didn't give us any money. It's a normal thing. So basically, it is a culture of demand, which can even be separated from our elections. It's not only the elections that we share. But
we're looking at the elections now specifically, and my question is, because it's a culture, or it has come to stay as a practice, is it something we should then...
No, it is not. It is not. So it's a culture that has to be...
Because you see police officers in their uniforms.
The culture of entitlement.
If we're going to penalize police officers, what then happens to the said persons whose faces on the picture sharing, giving us...
Exactly. As I said, we have to now start cracking down on it, saying that, you know what, you shouldn't give, because the reason why a lot of people that even go into public office feel that they have to amass a lot of money, it's not even because of their own personal, because they know that people would actually demand from them. So it's something that we actually have to crack down on. So what about Desmond was doing here? If he was sharing money, I personally like Desmond Elliott, but if he was sharing money, I would actually, condemn this particular act because it is wrong. So basically, from the top, he has to stop.
Would it be a different ballgame if Desmond Elliott was giving out packs of good food to the police officers?
It's still, I haven't voted in the UK before, but she has. Do they give out rice? Or what do they eat in the UK?
Well, the private here is different. Why not we to the UK?
Exactly.
No, I'm not even talking about inducement here. I'm speaking because the last elections, presidential election, I had a colleague who was a correspondent in Victoria University, where Professor Chibajo voted and all that. And I heard it was a carnival in VGC. There was food.
I like food a lot. So I was even asking people that, please, where are the polling units when they're sharing rice?
I was like, that specific polling unit. What happened was a large number of people did not know the identity of the person or the people that was rolling out the food and the jobs. And someone asked the question, was he marked in anything? Did he have any party logo? Did he have any names? He didn't have anything.
Oh, that's great.
No, on a more serious note, you see, in 2011, in my area, we thought there was going to be some form of, challenge or anything. So what we agreed as the boys in the street was that, you know what, we're for them. Now, we'll go to this place on Saturday with food, drinks, and everything. So we're going to sit down here. Yes. So everybody came and people brought, different types of beverages. And it was like that till they counted everything and made sure that it was a very smooth process. Yeah. So immediately we spot anybody trying to bring any political argument, hey, we shut you down, and then just talk football, women, every other thing that can be talked about. And then everything, yes, sure. I was just trying to refer to the ladies. Yeah. So if it's sometimes it might not be people in the area that want that sort of thing. If it is that way, it's fine by me. If it's a politician that is sharing food, food, and it's not branded, it's fine. If people in the area don't complain, they want it. It's fine.
If it's both of us going against each other and you're from one political party and from the other, and I see you holding out food and drinks, and you doesn't have any brands. And I see you. Do you think I would be thinking the best?
Well, it might sound very frivolous. I will start considering because people put it there and induce people in everything that you can put it like for ringing. When it comes to the meat of the matter, I think it's your choice. You should not induce, but then probably get somebody to share the food for you. Is the people
So you're away from it and it's
does this also tie back into how crude our electoral processes are that require people to spend hours on queues at the polling units? Because if you want to you come with your card and you vote in 5 minutes and leave, you don't have enough time on your hands to be collecting anybody's food.
We will get there. With the time readers, we didn't know we would debate. It wasn't a bad idea. So I think we will get there. It may take a while. It may take a while, but we will get there.
I think that's what I want to say.
I'm even sure that it's probably a crime to reduce people to voting, maybe developed countries with stuff on election.
I'm sure.
Because because elections, electoral law says you cannot campaign. So even sharing out stuff.
Thank you for bringing up that. I was going to say,
that's why, you know,
that's another thing. Our social media. So basically, even on that thing, not only.
Another thing that I wanted us to talk about is the Electoral Act rules, the NBC, and stop of campaign. It says the law says 24 hours to the election, you must stop everything that has to do with campaign. We have been talking, so many people are talking about cyber law, laws. It's in the House, the one who's been delayed. Can we stop people from campaigning on social media? Can we? To what extent can we do that? Is there a way we can do that?
This guy, he didn't rely. He treated like
Senator.
Yes, for that matter. 12 months ago, that vote everything APC all over the country. Vote, and I asked him, sir, you're a senator in it. You are breaching the Electoral Act. And you know, trust me, but the thing is, someone like that, it's very wrong. I said to me yesterday, and I told him like, you need to get a group. No more campaigns from my end. This. But now someone like Dino, who should look up to? Well,
you know, that okay, there's ambiguity in the law. That law doesn't say that any other person should not talk. Yeah, it's the kind of participating in today's election. That's where the ambiguity is. Last week, when he was participating, he did tweet on the election, just retweeting the results and then coming out. So, and again, Dino is not an APC spokesperson. He's a member of the APC, but he's not the APC spokesperson. If like Mohammed, for instance, goes out, Twitter and starts saying, voting on today, voting, then you can interpret that as the party campaign.
If the notable politician you have on Twitter,
yes,
or take to Twitter today to softly canvass votes for their candidate,
yes,
you know that can be argued to be campaign. This law. Look at it.
On social media, interpretation
of not by the candidates or his party, they haven't contravened that. Those are individuals doing their own thing. Those are individuals doing their own thing. And then the law itself didn't take so much of social media into consideration. So these people leave TV and radio and come on social media to just continue the thing because the law was silent on what you can and cannot say on social media.
Most of the candidates are actually very, very, very cautious.
Yeah.
You hardly see any candidate. The candidates handle itself 24 hours before the election, still campaigning. You hardly see. I've tried to monitor them. You hardly see. But you will not stop my friend here, who is perceived as a PDP
director of social media, for
yes, in Oyo State. You cannot stop people from company and do that. You cannot stop. You cannot stop him. Respect from talking about politics on the election. I think the process is still evolving, like we said. Other places, some River State, I think we should look into what's going on in River State. River State.
The state government went the money morning, he said that yes, the result sheets, and he was complaining about.
I wouldn't say I have a bias in Nigerian, but my problem is I do not feel like a man should should just decide to hold on to so much power and stake. Now the personal thing I have against it right now is what has happened. What I have against it right now is actually the lockdown of the judiciary. I feel that that's the slap. I feel that that's the slap on our judiciary, because I have a lot of colleagues that actually work in Rivers and have been out of work for about a year. You can't just decide to just shut down.
The judiciary?
No, but of course, you know what exactly happened. It's a show.
I don't know.
You know that.
I don't know.
I'm going to be honest. But we
just in the commissioner's house, the Adenike Oyetunde police vehicle has been burnt again.
Now with that development, I believe the statement of the People's Democratic Party that the governor of Rivers State does not want the election to go.
Who told you that it was the APC? Because he has been doing the one of every point.
Let's speak. First, the PDP secretariat set on fire. Either secretariat set on fire this morning. And they are still telling you, also the PDP.
Set up.
No. I know. The PDP within this set his office on fire. I said the idea is on fire.
The burnings that have been going on in certain elections results.
Let's go below the one. I know that
we'll come back to Rivers when we have
there's no way to be in Rivers State. Let's believe that for the sake of argument, 50% of 1.4 million counted in as election reform. For the sake of argument, 1.9 million, 50% of it is what? Is 700,000. I'm basically see this is what I see now.
Okay.
Now let's believe that what if you go to last time, they actually got that. Let's believe that. That means as of now, PDP has 700,000. That's based on the issue of Buhari.
You cannot. Because are very important to me. People voting.
Wait now. That the Rivers will know that the population. Wike is from where? It's an aquarium. The Wike is from where?
From the water side.
Now we also know that over the years, the fathers that determined the government in Rivers State are people from where? Yeah. Is that do you agree that?
No,
I'm coming now. Do we agree that? Do we agree on that?
I don't have to agree with you.
No, now the issue is this. With the result of the last election,
The leadership just
that's it or not is based on equity. It's an equity issue. And anyone accept it or not, APC to them is based on they have equity issues. APC. I don't want to accept it or not. Now, based on that, For the past 2 weeks now, Adenike has been crying, he has been shouting, he has been pleading. He had a broadcast and was pleading with people of Viva to forgive him. And forgive him. What is that? Forgive him, to forgive him, and forgive APC. How could River States that the grassroots, the information of the grassroots is that Adenike betrayed them, and who also was part of the plot, and they betrayed their brothers and sisters.
Okay, so
that basis, that's why I said PDP is bound to have sympathy. Okay.
I feel like
I'm coming. The first lady is from Africa. She's from Africa.
and she has not been working around.
She's from Africa.
Every rally that Peter said in Africa, if you have been there, probably this is your hair. But no, that you can make it. I'm making a election on election day. On election day, I'm terrorizing on election day. I'm making
Do you know the president is in
Yes, the president should be in Lagos. It's a very few. Fully out police officers. Wait. You see, let's we have information. We have information of that. Information of ground now is that which is moving around River State. And for a government that has police protection, escort, definitely is not doing that with his bodyguard. I'm coming. He's not doing that with his bodyguard. Fine. That is president. He's moving around with. I'm coming now. And that means that president, because of that security standard that they have, He might be moving around ballot papers and PVCs.
Let's get back to the election. Let's get back to the election. Honorable, President-elect Vice President-elect Professor and the candidate from the APC in Lagos has been accredited with no evidence from the
Nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. The president of this country, even though he's in Lagos, is not moving around.
We don't know yet.
This we know. Wait, this we know. If he's moving around, then just be there in Lagos. They say he's there. They told us that he got good and stuff. No, it's the over. I think she's moving around. I think, despite the fact that he's against it, I think he's trying to ensure what happened last.
Because I think that the first polling unit, that was the first thing he did. Even when they were
moving around,
the state and the commissioner of police. There's an AIG in charge of that state. If you have any security concern, you get to make it up to them.
Yes, I can make that. When was walking around with PVCs and ballot papers.
I said, he's walking around. He's walking around president against the position of the constitution, the position of law. That means that it is possible. It is prohibited. It is possible that he's walking around. He might have small. He might have small some certain quantities. What do you develop in that? Where do you get ballot papers?
So he's in charge of ballot papers in Rivers State. From who? Okay, so the presidential commissioner in Rivers State compromise. Now you're saying compromise.
See where we are.
Is that what you are saying? You need to make that statement.
Please forward. I will forward Adenike Info.
Okay, from Akwa State, there's reports about several local government areas. Voting is going on. They're saying that in a specific local in honor LGA, the science school where youth couples had to escape from their lives due to security concerns, and in oral LGA, they're saying that the police officer has carted away with election materials. In Akwa Ibom again, in Ikonsi Abasi LGA, all materials and adult staff of the Edemiah was being hijacked to the residence of the justice who were retired. Also, they're saying that party leaders in Etinam local governments are not working, and the manual are not reliable. Result sheets and ballot papers are also not available in Ikotebele and SCN local government areas, distributed without result sheets as well. This is YNaija's election day special. It's a situation room special, as you can see. I have very energetic people here. We're talking about trashing out a number of things, and it has to do with planning for the elections, state gubernatorial elections, and state house of assembly elections. The state house of elections, state house of assembly elections in Lagos, and the candidates of choice and the people that are vying for the elections. Yes, we are. Someone is the king. I mean, we are going to talk about them, and I'm going to talk about. she made them show, or rather, Isabella spoke about when talking that the options are available, and it has come up a number of times where people say, I want to vote, but there are no compelling candidates. Why then, ask my friend whose dream I believe, my friend who I know if he gets into that position will do it. Do we then, as friends, run him out and get you registered with the political party and hope that in 4 years' time? What's the fate of candidates that come from other political parties? Fight and vote, and at the end of the day, across the nation, they have only 15,000 votes. Should we then just scrap these political parties, or should we just focus our attention? Is there a favorable competitive environment for these smaller political parties to thrive?
Well, no. You see, the truth is that based on our current system, there is something in political science called the Veterans Law. The Veterans Law says that if you have a system of democracy where you win out, where it's first past the post, and it's winner take all, that eventually everything devolves to two parties, and even the third party gets frozen up. You are likely to have a three-party system or one party system in the parliamentary election. Where everything collapses into two parties. So there's no reason to ban anybody. Eventually, everybody will just align.
The strength of an individual's character.
The good thing is, when you talk about let's look at the state house of assembly election, for instance. I mean, this is an election that people. So these are kind of in the area, my local government, somebody that we all know around, and we're like, oh, this guy has been around for a while. He's done a couple of community projects that we endorse and we support and all of that. So these are people that are closer to people. So maybe at some point, of course, I know that there are a lot of candidates that will only get in because of the political party on which they are riding. But there are also a lot of candidates that are actually coming in based on the strengths of their personality, which also brings me to the next point of this focus on governorship aspirants and then presidential aspirants. And then we paid very little attention, even last week, to the people that were actually going into the National Assembly. Forgetting that these are the guys that actually run the show, because they are going to sit down in the house and they are going to make laws. And they are going to actually be, if they don't like the executive, for instance, they can make it just very difficult for him to govern. So these are people that we should actually even give. I mean, in other Senate times, I would like to say, you have scrutiny, as in serious scrutiny into, the personality, the professional background, the experience of people that are actually going to sit down as lawmakers. It's a very big deal. But I find that as Nigeria, maybe because we don't understand the power that the household, so we do not even make so much effort to actually know.
So the people that even vying for election do they even know the power that the house on its own has?
Yes, has. So it's a very big deal. When we look at things like the PIB, which can be now, for instance, Nigeria is a product economy. So basically, oil is our life, our soul for now.
Really?
Yes, it is. And you have the PIB that can basically just, turn around the industry, and it's just lying out somewhere, because I don't know what is happening to PIB. Even as a lawyer. Oh, sorry? Yes, even as a lawyer, I do not know what is happening with the PIB. So basically, I feel as if we have a more credible legislator that is actually accountable to the people, they would make an effort to ensure that these legislations that are actually for the benefits of the mass of the economy are actually pushed forward. So yes, I think that maybe going forward, we should actually lay a lot of emphasis on who goes good into the house.
Building on what she said, this apathy towards their election also translates into apathy towards their performance when they are even in office.
Exactly.
We don't hold them to
We don't hold them
accountable for anything. I mean, until recently when we had to basically raise dust over the allowances of National Assembly members. They've been collecting such hefty sums of money since 1999, not accounting for their salaries and allowances and constituency bonuses and all those things. And it needs to stop because this is a government. The executive alone cannot bear the burden of accountability. The National Assembly has to be responsible for itself. The State House of Assembly, and even worse, because nobody knows what's going on in there. Nobody knows what they are up to. Aregbesola has not paid salaries in Osun State for 5 months, and the House of Assembly there is not asking questions. And I have a representative there that I can say, why have you neglected the comfort and of your people as a legislator? It is your duty to raise just when the governor is not meeting the basic needs of the people, and hold him accountable and call him into the house and ask him to explain what exactly is going on with the resources of the state and why the needs of the people are not being met. But these people do nothing, and they just walk in as ghosts and stay there as ghosts for 4, 8, 16 years, and nobody talks.
One reason why they do nothing is because we don't even demand anything.
We don't demand
from them. Even when we want to demand things from them, where's the bridge? Accessibility. I have spoken to a number of them in this whole period, and I always tell them, you're vying for election and re-election now. You're accessible. We can invite you to come on air, and you gladly oblige. Yeah. You get it, and I give you just 2 months. Your telephone numbers will not go through. If they go through, your call is being forwarded to because they find other call numbers for calling them or people. So how do we get to the point where, as a people, we make these people understand that we elect you to represent us, and when you do represent us, you are accountable to you, and from time to time, because what they always do is town hall meetings. Nobody needs your town hall meetings, because then again, at the town hall meetings, they know the things they want to come and tell you. We built. If you need to see the schools, and a lot of them contribute as dividends of democracy. Classrooms that I may go to say that in your villages, that's what used to apply 10, 15 years ago. But some of these places are in Lagos. I remember speaking to one of them who is by Etiosa, and in the group block when the area boys stopped traffic going in and out of Lekki because some children lost their lives. There was no pedestrian bridge. And then some person the pedestrian bridges are there. And the man categorically told us that, look, yes, we know that these bridges were not there. There's a plan to put them in place. There's a place and there's a jam, and it's started to mention places where the bridges were going to be built. And interestingly enough, persons who lived in that area called in to say, look, it's actually true. I passed by and I saw it. Now, this man did not know the values you were going to ask him about pedestrian. We thought we were going to just ask him about all your education. Yeah. So, as a people, the question again comes down to how much is it that we're demanding from these people? And they know for certain now that the average Nigerian voter, if you fail us in 4 years, we have the power to take it away. So, we'll take a very short break. We'll take a very short break in a few minutes, and we'll reconvene at 12:45. So we'll just take a few things. We'll take a break at 11:30 and reconvene at 12:45.
The court is on recess. Okay, now
no, just
about the what you have in a place like. What a place in a place like the US, for example, you have midterms. So what happens is the midterms are now, it happens 2 years after the general elections. So it now becomes like a test of, it's like a referendum on the performance of the covering of the president family focus. We could use something like that here, but again, changing that now, will not become a problem. if we brought the own election out and had the focus firmly on them, then we put them under enough pressure to justify why they have to do certain things. Already, the person who has already said he wants to become the speaker of the house, he's already said that he's going to make public how much the House of Reps takes. So at least people realize that there is problem from outside about the cost of governance. If I just wake up and say, so one of those things I think like people are really worrying about. Maybe we could benefit from taking the election out and making it 2 years after. So for example, so you have the elections for the lawmaking arm in 2017, for example. So so for that period of time, everybody is firmly within your own sentence. So you have to now.
And you know how we were going to change.
Yeah, it makes a lot of why because of the system, why it makes sense? It's because of the system we follow. God was saying something about how government, how power is, concentrated in the center, and for us to be able to decentralize, because we have to bring government close to people, and then these are the people that can actually help us bring government close to people. So maybe not 2 years, I would say even a few months apart. It's not. So we look at 2 hours and say, it's an election year. Basically 3-4 months apart. We have, so just focused on.
Because I need some slack.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So it reduces the pressure on INEC. So okay, fine. First quarter we're doing national assembly.
Just 2 weeks after the presidential election, people like this energy going down. You see, by the time you want to start doing House of Assembly, it will be busy. Everybody, they won't even obey checkpoints again. People will just start going up there, open everything for you.
I understand what you mean. What
people like that about the
Okay, so I think it's a beautiful time to take a break. Like I said earlier, we'll reconvene at 12:45. This is the Situation Room brought to you by YNaija. Remember, #Nigerian sites, as well as on Twitter with the handle @YNaija. Hi, my name is Adenike. We will be back soon. Okay, this is the point where I say. This is what is happening.
Okay, so Nathaniel.
Yes.
Well,
Let's take a picture.
Enemies are saying this.
I didn't get it. We put it on. He could not even see what
Everybody
just like when I dance, I think
there's one Jonathan one that's so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, look, difference big huge in your budget.
It's just like statue and it brings back the whole. It's a call to action. It tells you, this guy. Why should you use this guy?
It's very difficult. Whether it's
because it's points for options. You are fighting between that and the